Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, things, beings, spirits, and other entities of the internet, to a Yomawari Midnight Shadows Ending Explained. First and foremost, we're not touching Night Alone at all. Gonna completely put that aside because I didn't play it, didn't research it, I don't know anything about it other than it exists. It was a great game, and we're focusing on Midnight Shadows. So with that, first things first, did you know they made a cafe for Midnight Shadows? That is the coolest thing ever. Didn't know, but I want to go, and I want to enjoy all the treats. Moving along from that, let's start with the first character that we are introduced to, which is Yui. We find out later, of course, Haru's best friend and kind of part of what kicks it all off. Yui was going through some rough times. I feel for her, being a young, but she decided enough was enough and just kind of listened to some bad voices. Don't listen to the bad voices, but she did, and we know what happened. It was brutal. She became a spirit though, and then of course we have to move on to Haru, who's her best friend, and they obviously, I'm guessing they went to school together. I don't know. It doesn't really devolve into that, but they're, of course, of school age, so they're best friends, and Haru was going to move away when this all happened, though she didn't want to, but it still kind of kicked it all off. So Yui and Haru go watch the fireworks together and stay out a little bit too late because apparently there's something going on in this town that everyone knows except for them. I'm guessing, maybe a few others, but we don't know about any others other than them. So some spirits come out and run off with Yui, and then Haru has to go looking for her, and that kicks the whole game off, and we find out, of course, Yui has passed away, and bad things happen here. Of course, we don't want to skip over Chaco? Yes, Doggo. Nicknamed him Doggo, sorry. But Doggo, Chaco, is Yui's other dog because Yui also lost one of her dogs, passed away. Kind of what was the catalyst to all this. But Chaco is an amazing dog who barks away all the spirits. And that's really all I got from looking into Chaco. So, Chaco, love you. Keep your barks going. And then, of course, to touch base on the spirits, the creepy crawlies in the darkness who try to kidnap you away and do things that we're not going to discuss. So the spirits, best I could find is, I mean, they're kind of just all spirits. There wasn't a whole lot of descriptions for each and every one of them, but they are obviously the souls or embodiment of deceased people, animals, legends, so on and so forth. And they just kind of roam the nighttime, and they just do their thing. Some of them are nice, some of them are kind of neutral, and some of them want to murder you dead, so you gotta run away and hide. We found that out many times over. And then to get to the kind of three main baddies, the first one being Mr. Yomawari, which I'm guessing it went into further detail in the first game on him, because it's kind of part of the name of the entire game, but he's just a mysterious creature that appears at night and kidnaps people, best I could find. And he has two versions of him. We know him as this one that I'm throwing on screen right now, who apparently just kind of creeps around and kidnaps kids. And then we met him as Meat, is what he's called, which he all of a sudden is just on a murderous rampage and wants to, again, kill you dead, so you gotta run away. And I didn't find a whole lot detailing Mr. Yomawari, other than there could be multiple of them, and it could be spirits of certain people that when they pass away they become him, or it might just be one who's really powerful. I mean, it was kind of up in the air from what I could figure out. I think the first game went into more detail on him, but from what we know, he kidnaps you, takes you to the factory, and as we kind of witnessed, there's a lot of kid spirits, so I'm guessing they didn't make it out too well. Okay, and let's discuss Mr. Kodawari, who is was a pain and wouldn't stop chasing me, otherwise known as Scissors Man. And apparently he, from what I could figure out, he was a deity of some kind, because he had the temple that was dedicated to him, which we found when we went through the dried up lake and we went into that kind of forgotten temple. And I believe that his scissors represent his ability to sever relationships, for better or worse, but I'm guessing more times than not worse. Based on his demeanor, he's severing bad relationships. And he probably was worshipped at one point due to that. Kind of obvious from the plaques that we found saying that people wanted certain other people out of their lives, and they would put that plaque up and probably say a prayer or something to his shrine. But I mean, it's kind of up in the air. It didn't give a whole lot on that. What I did find out beyond that, though, is Kodawari is, now bear with me, I'm not perfect here, but Kodawari's meaning is refusal or non-acceptance, and it can also mean, from my understanding, to be reason or the way of things. So I mean, that kind of ties in with it. On what he is doing is just, when you refuse to accept something, you're not accepting the way things are, that you'd pray to him to try to remove that from your life, as a way of cutting it off, hence the scissors. And that's kind of what I got there. I hope that gives some explanation. Oh, and actually further with Mr. Kodawari, I think it's implied that he was the god, or is the god, in this game at least, of farewells, or giving something up, which would make complete sense because when when Haru's at her kind of wit's end and she says, I can't take it anymore and I want to be done with this, he kind of showed up and was like, hey, how can I help you? And with that, I don't think he was a bad guy. I think he was genuinely trying to help you out, because Haru wasn't able to let go for, pretty much the whole game. We thought Yui was still alive when that wasn't the case. And spirits and the living, or the dead and living, it's kind of bad for them to be together, because one's dead, one's living, and that's just not a good thing. I think in the mythology kind of surrounding that, again, I don't know on this 100%, but the mythology in the culture is that's not good. So Mr. Kodawari's like, hey, let me step in and help you out there. And then we ran away, and he's like, what is wrong with you? And then to move on to our main baddie of the game, at least as far as I could tell, which I didn't get this from in the game, so I don't know how someone found this out, but I read that the main baddie, you remember, this one right here, was Malice. And kind of makes sense. Seems really angry, and it seems that he kind of feeds on anger and resentment and just badness in general. But the weird thing is he, unlike any other spirit, is able to speak to you. And I don't know if that's just a voice in your head kind of thing, or if there's actually whispers on the wind, or how that happens, but they're there, and he tries to guide you, obviously, to a gruesome end. Seems pretty sadistic in that manner. And at the very, very end, you can see that he's trying to use Yui's and Haru's bond against them, and then that's when Mr. Kodawari had to step in and cut off Haru's arm, which I think is a bit extreme, but it ended up working. And thanks to Mr. Kodawari having severed that connection, Haru was able to really fully tell Yui, hey, I'm sorry, but this is kind of a goodbye. I wish you the best. Please don't be resentful. And I don't know what happened with Yui. I would like to think that she went on to be a peaceful spirit based on kind of how the ending went, but it didn't get too far into that. And then we know that Haru ended up moving to another town as planned, met a new friend, and I'm guessing kind of lived happily ever after that. That one's kind of left hanging from what I could dig up. And then beyond that, I mean, like I said, the other spirits and things that we witnessed, I think they were just there and resentful entities of one thing or another. I mean, it didn't seem like, I think it was all because of malice that it made a bunch of hateful, resentful spirits, and that was kind of its whole plan in this town. And I mean, obviously, everyone knows something's off because no one is out at night. And there are signs even being like, hey, it's nighttime. Go back inside and stay there. So, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to lean on the side of it's a town who had a lot of deities they worshipped, and they were all happy and at peace at one point. But then, probably as just modernization happened, those entities were just abandoned, and some of them became very probably spiteful or hateful about it, leading to what we're seeing in the town. And I mean, it seems pretty unique to, well, those two towns, because when we went to the town over, I mean, there's still spirits and things there, and apparently that is where the first game took place. But I didn't play it, so I don't know. But I think so. And I mean, it makes sense. It all kind of ties together on that end, because there were I mean, there were, 3 abandoned temples that were not in so great shape. I mean, one was being turned into a mall, one was just in ruins, and then the other one was where a lake was. I mean, it looked like, mankind built up a dam to be able to hold water for the city or the town, and in doing so flooded all of that area, and thus kind of what happened to Mr. Kodawari's temple. But yeah, that's what I was able to dig up. I mean, if anyone else has anything that maybe I missed, or maybe some other theories on what all took place, I would love to hear from you. But otherwise, gonna go ahead and wrap this one up there. And just again, appreciate it, greatly appreciate tuning in and hearing me rant about a video game. Well, ramble, I think that's a better one. Ramble about the story of a video game, which I enjoyed, and I would recommend others enjoy it. So, again, thank you, and until the next video, as always, be awesome, and take care.